Hi everyone, today I'm back with a makeup declutter. I'm going to be going through the items in my collection that I decided I didn't want anymore or that I'm not really liking as much. And I like to do declutters every often now and then just because I think it's good to really curate my collection and just not have so much makeup all the time. It's a little overwhelming when you have just way too many choices and I can't figure out what makeup to use when I have too much of it. So the first item that I'm going to be decluttering is an e.l.f. face palette. This is their highlighting palette, illuminating palette, and it's a powder palette and it comes with 4 shades. Now the thing that I don't like about this palette is that just the quality is very chalky and powdery. It reminds me of a very low quality Hourglass ambient lighting powder, and so I'll swatch them for you. So they come off just looking super powdery and chalky, and when you blend it on your hand it doesn't give you that natural glow, nor does it give you any kind of blinding highlight. On my face it just looks really ashy and awkward. I don't know how else to explain it. Plus these two colors are too dark for me. I would never use this as a highlight. And these two colors just don't really do anything for me. So I'm happy to say goodbye to this just because it wasn't that expensive, which is a good thing, but even if something's not expensive, I still expect it to work well. The next part of mine is this Milani eyeshadow quad. This is one of their Milani Fierce Foil Eye shines. It's in the color Florence, or the number 03 Florence. So this is actually a really beautiful palette. These are all cream shadows. They are very reflective and they're really blinding if you build it up on your eyes. The thing about this is that, well, for one, I've had this for a long time, so the quality of this is actually decreasing, which is one of the reasons why I'm deciding to get rid of it, just because I've had it for more than a year now and I don't think I need to keep it in my collection any longer. But the second thing is that these shadows do not last on your eyes at all. They will crease within like the next 10 minutes. And I'll just swatch a color to show you how beautiful they are though. It's very richly pigmented. They're cream eyeshadows. You can see that you can build it up to be really blinding and they look really pretty, but they just don't last on the eyes even if you have a really good eyeshadow primer or without eyeshadow primer. I've tried it with glitter primer hoping that it would keep it on more, but it just doesn't. If you are interested in like a eyeshadow with this finish and you just want it to wear on your eyes for like a short amount of time, I think that you might be interested in them. But if you're like me and you don't like touching up on your makeup in general, then these are not really the best option because they don't last. The next item that I am parting with is one of my old favorites. This is by the brand Philosophy. It's a skin tint. It's their Renewed Hope in a Jar skin tint. When this first came out, I was so excited for some reason, probably because I didn't really have any kind of tinted moisturizers at the time, and so I immediately went to my nearest Sephora just to find this. And I really did enjoy it for the time being when I had it. I did include this in my project pan for this year, but I'm deciding to cut this product out of it because the quality has gone bad. The smell is a little funky and it definitely doesn't perform the same on my face, and I don't want to force myself to use something that I think has gone bad just for the sake of finishing it. And you can see I've almost gone through the entire tub. Would I repurchase this? No, because I have other foundations that I like more, and if I want just kind of really sheer coverage, I'll just either use a concealer to spot conceal, so I wouldn't really be reaching for a tinted moisturizer just because I don't really wear coverage all over my face anymore. Second, the packaging of this kind of sucks. It doesn't seem that hygienic to continually open a jar and dip your fingers in it. I kind of like foundations that have pumps better because it's more hygienic and you can kind of control the amount that you get. And third, this one has really bad shade range. I think they added maybe 2 more shades in there, but from what I know, they had like 5 shades when I first found out about this product. I have the color 5.5 beige, which sometimes is a little bit too dark for me, especially when I'm coming out of like the winter or something. Next, I want to talk about this eyeshadow quad. This is from the store Miniso. I don't know if you guys have this store, but it's a Japanese store that's kind of similar to Daiso, if you know that one. This is super cheap. This is like maybe $2, $3. Honestly, I'm getting rid of this because I have colors like this in my collection already and I'm not super attached to this quad. I think the colors are fine. The shadows are a little bit, they're kind of like chunky in my opinion. They're not horrible. Like I would rate them on par with like drugstore eyeshadows, because we all know there's been some really bad drugstore eyeshadows out there. I think it's nice for like a beginner. I think like my little cousins might like this if they wanted to try out makeup. So I'll be passing this one on. Next is this little blush from Benefit. This is the Dandelion blush. It's a small size that I got in some kind of like sample gift set. You can see that there are like scrape marks on this because I've tried so hard to get this to show up on my skin. That's the thing I hated about this blush, is because it never showed up. It was so light that I just had to try to scrape it because I thought I was continually hitting hard pan or something, but I think it's just the payoff with this one is lacking. I've heard that the smaller sizes are different quality than their regular size blushes and face products from Benefit, but just by how this smaller one performed, it doesn't make me want to try the bigger blush. Okay, so the next product that I am decluttering is this MAC eyeshadow palette. This one I'm going to be giving to my mom. So my mom actually was the one who bought this for me. This is my first high-end makeup eyeshadow palette and she bought it for me. And so it has like sentimental value, so I don't want to like throw it away or like give it to like someone else, but I'd rather just give it to my mom so that I guess I just like keep the sentimentality part of it. But anyways, I don't really care for this palette anymore other than that my mom gifted it to me because the colors are just kind of drab in my opinion. I have other palettes I like better. It was a nice palette for me when I first started out in makeup to just kind of play around with some colors. It does have like yellows and some purples down here. But now that I've gotten more into makeup and I've learned what kind of colors I like, there's no reason for me to hang on to this when my mom could get better use out of it. Another giant palette that I am getting rid of is this Lorac MegaPro 3 palette. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I am just really over Lorac in general. I'm also getting rid of the Lorac Pro 1. These were like, this was like the OG back then where everyone raved about either the Naked palette or this palette. I just don't really enjoy the quality of Lorac shadows anymore. I find that every time I use these shadows, all the colors tend to blend into one brown mess on my eyes for some reason. And second, I don't find myself feeling drawn to use these palettes. I think it's just because the colors are just so very similar and I know I'm going to get the same look on my eyes that I don't really want to reach for it and I don't feel creative. I would say the shimmers are really nice. If you're into Lorac palettes and you don't have one, you want to try one, I would try one of their unzip palettes. Those are all shimmers and they're really beautiful and very stunning on the eyes, but I don't really enjoy their matte shades just because it can be patchy sometimes and it really doesn't give me like a nice cohesive look. Next is a blush palette from Sephora. This is their holiday blush palette. It's called Blushing for You, and I believe this was from 2015. And it comes with 3, or you could say 6 blushes because they're divided into like triangles. And for some reason I don't reach for this. I find myself not really reaching for contour palettes or blush palettes or highlighter palettes as much. Because I like to reach for singles just because they're a little smaller and easier to work with. This palette I didn't really like because I tend to use bigger blush brushes and it's kind of hard to just get one color. And the thing is that with these, half of the square is a matte blush and half of it is a shimmer blush, and I don't like wearing shimmer blushes because it emphasizes my texture. So I don't reach for this because every time I put in my brush it kind of picks up both the matte and the shimmer, and it turns into some kind of finish that I don't like. So I'm getting rid of this one. Next palette I'm decluttering is this Juvias Lace palette. This is the Nubian. I bought this from a friend because Nikki Tutorials was raving about it and I thought I needed it. And I mean, I already have the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, so there's really no reason for me to hang on to this one just because all the colors I like are in that palette itself. I don't think the quality is bad, but I don't think it's outstanding. I just think that it's really hyped and I don't know, people like it. I think the colorful palettes are maybe a better deal just because these colors you could get anywhere. But I'm glad to get rid of this because it was just sitting in my drawer for so long and I never reached for it. Okay, so another palette. So I'm actually getting rid of a lot of eyeshadow palettes, as you can see. But the next palette that I'm getting rid of is one by the Balm. It's the Nude Beach palette. I remember this came out when Naked Heat came out and it was all like about the warm browns and like oranges kind of trend, and I really wanted this one as well, so I picked it up at a Kohl's near me. There's only one shade that I really like in this palette, and it's this one called Breathtaking. This one is like your typical bronze copper kind of shimmer shade. I love wearing this just on my eyes, like as a single shade. You can see it's really pretty, really reflective, but again, I already have a lot of other shades in other palettes and I never reach for any of the other shades in this one. The Balm isn't necessarily a bad brand. I think they have pretty good quality products. For some reason they're not as big on YouTube. I don't know why, maybe it's the packaging, but I personally really like their packaging. I think it's cute, it's kind of fun and flirty. And they tend to have a lot of 50% off sales on their website, so if you guys are actually interested, I would wait until their website has a sale to pick that up. Let me see, what else am I getting rid of? I'm trying to just kind of go through this faster so the video's not too long. So I'm just gonna pull out all of the Wet n Wild stuff that I'm getting rid of. Let's see. Some more eyeshadow palettes. I think I've talked about these before, but I'm getting rid of these because the colors are boring to me. I don't see how this is a really cohesive palette. Like, for some reason in my mind, I would never like use the browns in the crease and then put this purple on the lid. It just doesn't make sense to me. And although this pink looks more vibrant in the pan, when I swatch it, it reminds me of like that Dandelion blush, except this one actually shows up, but like you can see how icy pink that is, and I just don't like that. I like more of a pigmented warm tone pink, and this one's too cool tone for me, so that one's going. This one was just a bad purchasing decision on my part. I don't wear colors like this. I don't wear greens, I don't wear blues, I rarely will wear purples, I don't wear blacks or like dark grays or anything, so I don't know why I bought this. I think I saw it and when I swatched it, it was really nice, but it's just not me. And plus, like I said, I have the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, so if I wanted a green or a blue or a purple, I would go there. Next are these two eyeshadow palettes. These are the bigger palettes they have. I'm getting rid of this one in, what is this one called? This one is called Nude Awakening, and it's just pretty much your basics. Again, I have all of these colors already. I don't need another one of this. So this one is just going because it's boring, and I already have dupes of this in my collection, and this can be passed on to someone who doesn't have the basic neutrals. And this one I'm getting rid of because it literally sucks. Like, this one literally is a piece of shiitake, because it literally, I know I'm saying literally a lot, but I'm really trying to get the point across that this is not worth the money. Even though it's only $5, or even if you can get it off for 40% off, don't get it. Just don't buy something because it's on sale. Don't buy something just because it's cheap, because if it's not good quality, you're probably not going to use it, and this was not good quality. And then the last two products are really cute to look at. Like, isn't this just adorable? I really love the packaging. And it's unopened, but I'm giving it away to like my cousins or friends because I don't really use this anymore. This is actually a backup. I used up one of these MegaGlo cushion highlighters already, but I don't know, I just shouldn't buy backups anymore, because once I use the original like purchase up, I find that I have something else that I like, and I don't really need to keep a backup of it. So just to rehash this, there's nothing bad about this. I think it's really pretty. I think it builds a very subtle, nice, dewy kind of highlight, but I'm just giving it away because I don't really care for it anymore. This one is a primer by Wet n Wild. It's their dewy primer. This one reminds me of the Becca backlight priming filter, or the First Light one, whichever one that is, the gold one, not the purple one. This one's actually pretty nice. The thing is that I don't use primers. I tried so much. I tried when I first started makeup about 3 years ago, and I saw that it did nothing for my dry skin, and then I stopped, and then everyone raved about primers, like especially the ones on YouTube that I watched, so I started again about 2 months ago, and all the primers I tried gave me horrible breakouts and clogged my pores, so I pretty much X'd out primers out of my life, and I don't think I will ever use a primer again. So there's a reason why I'm getting rid of this. When I used this, I did not notice any difference. I don't understand the point of a glowy primer if you're just gonna pack on foundation on top. Okay guys, we're nearing the end of our pile. Let's see. I'm gonna start with this. This is an Essence blush, and this is in the color 10 Heat Wave. This blush is just way too pigmented, patchy, doesn't blend out on your face, looks really nice to look at, but doesn't work on your face. Honestly, I hated this blush. Every time I used it, I've tried to use it so many times. I've had it for 2 years. It's time to let it go. Next, yes, I'm getting rid of the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter. I never reached for this. It's a nice gold color, but it's a little bit too dark, too yellow for my skin tone. Is it pretty? Sure, it's pretty. Is it blinding? I don't really think it's blinding unless you wet your brush with it, and I don't find the need to wet my brush for highlighter. I just want to apply highlighter with a dry brush because that's just what I do. Next, getting rid of this Pixi eyeshadow palette. Pixi is such a hit or miss with me sometimes. I don't like their normal 5-pan eyeshadow palettes, and this is one of actually my more favorited eyeshadow palette from Pixi, but I find that I run into the same problem that I had with the Lorac eyeshadow palette, which was that all the colors ended up looking the same on my eyes. I could never see any definition or distinction between any of the colors I use. The shimmers are pretty when you swatch them, but when applied with a brush, they looked like they were matte. So I'm getting rid of this for sure. Okay, last 3 products. We're almost there. Okay, so 2 bronzers I'm getting rid of. One is the Hoola Benefit, and this is the Faced Chocolate Soleil in medium deep. Getting rid of this because I already have other bronzers I like. I have the Butter Bronzer, and I have my Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze, so there's no reason to really use any of this. I don't really like Hoola bronzer. First of all, I don't like the packaging. I hate this cardboard packaging. It's hard to open. I mean, that's a petty reason, but like, it's a reason for me to not reach for this and use it. The color is whatever. Sometimes it looks too orange on me. Sometimes it looks okay with the light hand. But I don't like that I have to be more cautious when using this. I'd rather just use my Marc Jacobs. This one smells really nice, just like chocolate. But I never reach for it because, like I said, I have other ones I like. Last product that I'm decluttering is this Colourpop Femme Rosa Caruche by Colourpop Her Face Palette. I mentioned this before in my Instagram posts as well as in other videos, I believe, that this one is just too pigmented and the wrong shades for me. I have a very light skin tone, and the highlighter is just too dark for me. The blush is way too pigmented, makes me look like a clown, and the contour bronzer is just too dark for me. So this would just be better for someone else with a darker, deeper skin tone. The quality of this is okay. I don't think it's awesome. I don't think it's horrible or it sucks or anything. The shades are all pigmented, but for me, I like blushes that are more buildable. I don't like that. This is just way too pigmented. Like, I literally just wiped my hands so softly, and look how much came off. And because just how pigmented that is, I'm just tapping it. It's so pigmented. Like, it would actually be pretty as, like, literally it looks like a lipstick on my hand. That's how pigmented it is. It's just way too much for me. I don't jive with that. Alright guys, so that was all the things that I'm decluttering. It kind of seems just like a lot of palettes now that I went through all of them, and I'm going to be giving this to my family and my friends. I'm sure that they'll take all of it. I'm not going to be donating just because most of these have been kind of like more gently used, and I don't, and well, there's this one that's not open, but I'm not sure if like donating one thing would be like okay. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please comment down below what you think about what I'm decluttering, if you've decluttered some of the same things, or if you really like something and you're wondering why I'm decluttering it. But aside from that, I'm gonna try to list all the products down below in the description box. I'm gonna link all of my social media, and until then, I will see you guys next time.